Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Brandon, or Everseen here, and today I got a little bit of a guide for you guys. It's just a little kind of trick that I've been screwing around for like a month or two, and it's basically like your resource yield, but I'm specifically going to be focusing on grain yield. So this is how I've upped my grain yield in my castle, like probably 10 times the amount. And so anyway, let's get into it. So first thing I'm going to talk about is how I have all of my grain plots L1, as you can see, and they're actually pretty cheap, and I'll show you why here I actually have them all L1. So if you go into info and then more info here, you'll see that a level 30 grain plot, it actually has 6,000 hourly yield and then 60,000 capacity. And then if you bump it up one level to L1, you go to 8,000 hourly yield and 80,000 capacity. So a little bit of simple math, and that's a 25% gain in literally just one level. And I know it's technically 10 levels because of legendary, but it's really cheap to get the grain plots, honestly. Like, it's not a lot of lumber, and it's only 200 metals. So I mean, 2,000 metals to get 10 level 1 plots is actually pretty worth it. And the other reason why I like to have them L1 is because of this research. And I haven't done it yet because I've been more focused on battle research. But if you go into the farmers tab, and first you got to get this point, and then your second point here would be legendary harvest. And basically this is it like ups your legendary farm production. So I think the maximum I can get is like 6 out of 10 points or 7 out of 10 points at L2 or L3 castle. So basically I'll get like 30% extra grain yield. So I actually have to finish this sometime soon. It's pretty cheap too, it looks like. So it'd probably be like maybe 10,000 arcane stones altogether. You're also going to want to do your regular research here. You're going to want to have plow 1 and then plow 2, and a lot of people already have this, but I feel like I got to throw it in because it's part of the process. So you want to get that, and then you also want to do your lord skills in development, and you're going to want to go for all of the grain yield skill points. And I also did lumber because that's what I need the most. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Now, one of the most important parts is going to be your preset. So I have a preset actually dedicated just to resource yield, and as you can see, the third slot from the bottom, I actually have 85% more resource yield. And so yeah, like every single one of my pieces, my gear pieces, has resource yield on it. And I could get better rolls on the pieces, but I just haven't bothered because I don't really have that many reset stones. If you're going to do this too, best thing to keep in mind is that resets, like the percentages, they every 5 levels, they go up a tier. So a level 40 piece is going to have worse resets than a level 45 piece. And same thing, like level 45 will have lower than level 50. And just keep in mind that it goes up every 5 levels. So from 45 to 49, it'll stay the exact same amount of tier, like percentage wise. But then when you go to 50, then it gets bumped up to the next tier. So that's why I save like blessing stones and stuff for when you're level 50 gear, because you get the most out of your blessing stone and you're not wasting it. So yeah, I would just do that. And if you don't have all your pieces maxed like me, because like there's a lot of people that won't, maybe just focus on bringing them all up by like the same 5 levels. So like all level 30, all level 35, all level 40. Unless you're really trying to focus like battle, then I would do like the first 3 pieces. But anyway, that's getting more into like an equipment guide, which I can do at a later date. But the next thing is going to be castle themes. So there's 2 castle themes, actually 3 that I know of. I haven't checked the rest of them actually, but these are just the ones I know about. So glorious theme, well actually you gotta buy this. It's like $100, limited time event. A lot of new kingdoms might have the chance to get this, but anyway, you gotta pay money. Same with the reindeer castle theme. These are basically the exact same castle themes. This one is like you gotta buy packs around like Christmas time. but they increase your resource yield by 50%. And I actually used this on my L4 in K92, and it was really good for bringing your yield up. And I think my peak resource yield for grain was 1.1 million on my L4 and K92 with this theme on. So it helps you quite a bit. But if you're free to play, I would recommend doing the Super Santa theme. You can buy it for 3 days or 7 days, 1,000 gems for 3 and 2,000 for 7. I mean, 2,000 gems in 7 days, you'll probably get more than that in the 7 days, so you might as well buy it if you're really serious about upping your resource yield. And this will give you a little bit of a boost of about 20%. And now is going to be another one of the most important parts. It's going to be your heroes. So the heroes you want to focus on, this will be the first one, is Mayala. And the only reason why you want to focus on her is because of her passive ability. So she's the only development hero that actually has the passive ability to increase your yield, and she gives 60%, which is a huge boost, and you're going to want to put that on your grain tile for sure. And of course, Grainmaster books, I only recently started buying these, so that's why they're low, but I get 5% more from that. And then I use Lenny with her, and Lenny, I put better books on him because orange heroes get better percentage on their skill books, and then it's the same thing, like yellow heroes get better percentage on their skill books than orange heroes. But sadly we don't have any yellow development heroes, so I can't really use any yellow heroes. But yeah, I'll show you, like you're going to want to put them right here where it says assign, and you're going to want to put them in those slots. So from Lenny, I believe I get, or actually from both of them, like their development points, I get 65%. But then Mayala gives by herself, because of her passive ability, 60%, which is a huge boost to your yield. So right there you're getting over 100% yield just from your heroes. So it's really important to work on those, and you can exchange in here for them. You can also, I use Lenny, but you can use Braith if you want. I just had Lenny at 120 before Braith at 120. But now you can buy Braith shards in here. You can buy 10 a day if you want, and you can refresh here and you can get Mayala and Lenny, and I believe Dayru, and then you can also get Braith in the exchange center. So it's a good way to up your heroes there too. So without using your boost farm spells, this whole trick is probably going to be useless to you. Basically what I mean is, you see how it says on the left, 1 day speed up. So these are the farm spells, and basically you get them from the cargo port. I think you get like 3 a day when you claim. It's like the 3rd or 4th one, and you also get them from events, but they're very important because they don't really have a percentage gain. They literally just double whatever your total yield is. So whatever your total percentages and stuff is, it completely doubles it. So as you can see right now, without the spell on, I'll show you, hopefully it's accurate, because it kind of glitches out where it won't show the correct yield. But right now I have 467 an hour. So if I go ahead and activate all these, so I'll activate 10 of them. And luckily I'm able to do this right now. I didn't really plan to be able to activate these, because you can't activate them once they're already activated. So now that those are active, we'll check the yield, and it's at 935,000 an hour, which is super good. That's like 3 regular level 7 tiles on the map that I get every single hour. So now that that's active, I also want to talk about the harvest skill. So now that my grain yield is so high, this skill actually means something, and it's actually a very useful tool. So every 4 hours I get a free hour of resource gain. So every 4 hours I can use this, and I get 935,000 grain. And I mean, that's just awesome. Every 4 hours you get a couple extra grain tiles. It's awesome. But the problem is that a lot of people can't hold grain in their castle. I know for me, I have 3.3 million an hour grain consumption, so it's not really realistic for me to hold grain in my castle. But I mean, if you're really diligent enough, you can use grain hoards, and if you're really committed, you can get these from the Ashen Shrine like every single day. You probably have to refresh doing your run quite a few times if you're not lucky the first time, but you can definitely, like, this is feasible to do daily if you really want to keep grain in your castle and you're serious about it. Because if you do all these tricks, guys, like, I'm not even joking, I've done it on like an L2 and my L4 and K92, and each castle was pulling in like between 20 and 40 mil grain a day. And like the L2 didn't even have any troops. Like, all I did was just log in, and I used the harvest skill, and I collected my tiles, and I did my free wishes for grain every day, and that was it. And so all I literally did was just log in, and I would collect like 4 million off of all of the grain plots, and then I would use harvest and get another 900,000, and literally didn't even have to farm, and I got about 20 million a day. Like, that's huge. And if you can do this in farms that are high level, it's very lucrative because you don't really need to have the troops there. For lower level farms though, even if you're collecting tiles, like if you think about it, if I was getting 20 to 40 million off of not collecting at all, imagine what you could do if it was a harvest day and every level 7 tile is 600,000. Like, we're talking like probably 50 million, 60 million grain a day, and that really adds up in the end. And if it's on a farm, you typically don't really have to worry about your grain consumption. It's really just on your main. So if you really wanted to get crazy, you could just keep all the grain on your farms and use them as like little grain banks. So really, this trick has like helped me a lot. If only I had more grain hoards, I would actually completely abuse this again. I did in K92 with my L2 and my L4. I was actually able to collect just over 500 million grain in probably 2 to 3 weeks, and that was with collecting. So I know we're all broke for grain. I know everybody struggles with it. We've got many events now like Overlord and Dreadlord and KVK, and just doing power up, and just everything needs so much grain, training your troops every 2 weeks. So it's really helpful to know how to do this trick, and if you can actually put those grain hoards to use, it's super lucrative. So I hope this helped you guys. I know it helped me quite a bit. I actually kind of took this from a few people in group chat that I was in. But anyway, they're pretty smart for figuring this out. One guy, he had his grain yield to probably 1.3 million. So anyway, super lucrative tip. I hope you guys found some value from this. Hoping to put some more guides out here soon. Just because of this whole quarantine thing, I don't really have much to do anyway, so I might as well just teach some people because I like doing it and it keeps me busy. But anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one, and I'll see you later.